Thursday, my Thursday video for a day, part 4, season 4, Money Heist. Definitely a very good season in my opinion. I would give it 9.5 out of 10. One of the better seasons. I would say this one, usually in some of the other seasons, you don't feel like the consequences of what's happening. Like sometimes it feels like the professor just gets out of everything sometimes. But this season they suffer a lot of loss. And just most of the seasons going forward, besides the first season, it seems like the stakes are a lot higher. And the professor seems to lose a lot at times. And makes it seem him more human than him just like kind of like a robot sometimes. Season 4, episode 1, game over. Anger and grief, heightened tensions between the group. The professor, while in mourning, attempts to make a daring and dangerous escape. This one is insane because he thinks Lisbon, the former police chief, is actually dead. So he sees her get executed, or actually hears it. They falsify it, which does come up later. And there is some problems with that just because they're lying. And this is a pretty good episode, though. There's a lot of stuff happening in this episode, and I really like this episode a lot. I'd give it 9.2 out of 10. And what would you do? What would you rank it? Episode 2, Berlin's wedding. Palermo shocks the group with his actions. Sierra pressures her subject to take a deal. The professor remembers his brothers. Sierra pressures Lisbon to take a deal. He was about to take the deal until one of the someone who was in the police actually put C4 in his house and said that they were going to pretty much blow him up, but they said it was fake, so if it didn't work, then he could have an excuse to go back on. But this episode's pretty good. Palermo shocks the group with his actions. He's just really lying a lot, and it seems like a lot of stuff's happening. Number 3, that taught me a lesson. I would give episode 2, Berlin's wedding, 9.2 out of 10. Number 3, autonomy lesson. The professor and Mole attempts to pass along a message. The person inside the tent. Denver's jealousy towards Monica and Rio's friendship heightens, which seems like he really thinks the friendship is more than it's really presented to be. And I don't think it's anything more than just like platonic friends. He seems to overhype it. I would give this episode a 9.3 out of 10. Number 4, Paso Doable. In the past, Berlin predicts that Gandia will cause problems for the operation. Sierra's interrogation of Lisbon leads to a personal revelation, which is true. Gandia is probably the most annoying character. He's just rude to everyone and really just like says a lot of crazy shit overall. And I don't know, he's probably one of the worst characters in the show of all time. Like honestly, he's very bad. 5 minutes earlier, Denver turns to... I'll probably give episode 4 probably a 9.9 out of 10. I really like that episode. And it really just shows their whole planning of the heist. Overall, what's happening. Number 5, episode 5, 5 minutes earlier, Denver turns to an undercover source for help. Nairobi attempts to move her team as danger around them intensifies, which... This is when danger really gets heightened up. So Gandhi actually breaks his index finger and lets himself out of the handcuffs, which I'm pretty sure that's like a trick that's pretty widely known. I don't know how he wouldn't have known that if he was like some sort of green beret and security guard. Like, I think people have talked about that in movies before, like dislocating your thumb. But I don't know if all handcuffs can be able to capably do that. I'm not really sure about that. But what do you think about that? Episode 5, 5 minutes earlier, I'll probably give it 9.6 out of 10. Number 6, TKO. While Nairobi's hostage, Gandia negotiates with the crew with a Nairobi held hostage. Professor desperately seeks a new plan to save the team, which he's pretty much using Nairobi to really bide his time, and he promised he was going to kill her, so we don't really know at this point what's going to happen with her. I would say this episode has very high tensions because he's really like a Green Beret or some sort of army type of person, so it's very hard to take down. And like he said in the last episode, they figured that he would probably need to be the first one to be killed. But I didn't really want to kill anyone. Very interesting episode. I really like this episode a lot. I would give it 9.4 out of 10. Number 7, Strike the Tent. The group reels following an attack of one of their own. The professor puts adjusted plan in motion with the help of his new recruits in Palermo. Which this one is sad overall. Nairobi dies in this episode. He actually puts her head in the door, Gandia, and he shoots her in the head. It's an insane episode. Because he's about to let her go, but then he just goes up and shoots her in the head. they finally pretty much make him like stop, and then they tie him up and they use him for later. I'm gonna probably say that in the next video, but they pretty much put like a bunch of smoke bombs on him. That's pretty much it. I would say Nairobi dying, one of my favorite characters in the show. I was very surprised when she died overall. Very much shocked me. I didn't think they were gonna kill her off. I figured she would survive at the end because there was the whole sun thing, but the sun the whole sun part, when they put the sun up to the window and shot her in the head, shot her in the chest part, that part was very interesting to me, and I thought she was dead at that point, but she didn't die. Number 8, the Paris plan. The Professor Benjamin and others attempt to free Lisbon. Tokyo's anger threatens her faith in the plan, and Sierra takes matters in her own hands. But Tokyo's anger was really with them not killing Gandia. That's the main thing overall. I would say that the Professor and trying to free Lisbon, that's probably a pretty interesting episode. I would say the whole plot they had was digging underneath the courthouse. Her really taking a long time to testify, and then like building a false door. That's probably the most craziest part of the show. They build a false door so she sneaks by it. They knock the other people out, and it's just a great episode overall. And they kidnap a woman that looks just like her and put her in the car van so they could use her for later, which is pretty interesting in my opinion. I don't really know why they put the woman or kidnap some woman, and they later use her husband. They're both coming home from a salon, and imagine getting picked up by these people. That would be pretty insane. Let's do a character rating for each season. I might have forgot last time, but I'm gonna do it this time. And let's see. Do you want me to do Money Heist Korea as well? I know I've said that in pretty much every video, but it's important. I kind of want to do it, but some people said it's pretty much the same thing, but what do you think? Have you seen it? Have you not? And what's your opinion on it? The Professor. Honestly, I would give him 9.9. Probably one of the best characters. Tokyo, 8.6 overall throughout the whole show. Berlin died in the first season, so... or second season, actually. I would give him like a 2 or a 3. He's an okay character. He does a very morally skewed thing, so that's why his rating is very low. Rio, he's an 8.5. Raquel, probably an 8.2. Denver, 9.7. Nairobi, 9.9. Monica, I would give a 9.1. Helsinki, I would say a 9. He really follows like what everyone else is doing, not really sometimes have his own thoughts. Alicia Sierra, I would give her probably a 1. One of the worst characters. Martin, I'd probably give a 5. Arturo, he's a 1 as well. And that's pretty much... oh yeah, Marseille, I'll probably give him... he's a pretty good character, 9.3. Bogota, 9.87. There's a lot of good characters in the show overall this season. Luis Tamayo, he's an absolute horrible character. Probably one of the worst. I would say 1 as well. He's very annoying. He always has like this weird ass look on his face. He's always like screaming and shit. So I don't... I feel like that's really what all he does when he goes on screen. But this is one of the better seasons overall. And have you been keeping up with the videos? And have you been watching? Like, I want to know if you've been watching. And do you like the character ratings? I feel like the character ratings, maybe not a lot of the people do them, but I really like the idea of it being a thing, like, of rating the characters, because sometimes people don't do them, and I just like the idea of it. But what do you think? It's probably be the end of my video. Did the character rankings, everything else. But actually, I have some more movie news to talk about. Nope is about to be released. I think it got released today. Very good looking movie overall. Jordan Peele, are you going to be watching it? And comment down below if I should review it. I honestly can't wait to watch that movie and see what it's really about. Because the last movie I lost of him, Us, I think that was a great movie, and so was Get Out. He's really been on a tear lately with the movies. Hopefully he keeps producing more of them. But Nope just looks like a great overall movie, and I can't wait to see it. Hopefully I see it this weekend. But what do you think?